Marlborough, New York.
That's Marlboro to you.
The downside is that now Rick is driving my car. That is the big negative.
And last night he was driving my 62 Savoy, and at every traffic light he did a massive burnout.
Don't believe it. I wouldn't do that.
Oh, no, I got witnesses. Payback is a bitch.
Is it on film?
No.
That it didn't happen?
No,
Okay, had a big day today of lining up. Basically, we're just roughing everything out, making sure I got good gaps, good alignment with all the panels. So it's nowhere near finished, but it's certainly roughed out. So I've got beautiful door gaps already. I haven't even tried any massaging yet. The door gaps have come out really nice. Same with the boot alignment. Beautiful gaps. And everything looks nice and square, it's all nice and level. So one step forward, it looks starting to look like a car, but unfortunately I've got to pull everything back off again. Probably won't be the last time either, because you've got to trim things and neaten things and drill holes for plug welding. Still always a bit of manipulating and massaging right till the end until you get a perfect way you exactly want it. It's a bit dark, I don't know if you can see in there. The trunk floor is all welded in, the wheel houses are welded in, except the one repair over there I've got to do. Otherwise the floor and the floor extensions are done. But everything else at the moment has just got screws holding it in. So it's a bit exciting because now it's starting to look like something, because it looked pretty bad to start with. But a few new panels and a bit of this and a bit of that, before we know it, it's going to look like a car again. Anyway, we'll go on to the next part. I'll give an update later. Okay, been staying back to do a bit of extra work, just trying to get a few things done. I've finally got all the box framework that goes up under the rear Dutchman panel. It was corroded out in a few places. This panel obviously replaced the bottom of this box and part of the infill, part of the rear parcel shelf. Had to restruct the corner and the seat pillar here, both sides. And we're getting close to final fitment. I've done a couple of fits already. As you can see, all the tools. This is a sort of mess that happens when you're in a flurry and things are flying around and you're trying to get things done. But we're getting close. I think I'm really close to preparing the panels for final fitment. So I'll be having to drill holes everywhere for plug welding, and once I've done that, I'll finish off putting some of this weld through primer, and then I think I'm ready to do a final fit up. And then as I'm welding it, you do final adjustments and make sure that all the gaps are right and get it 100% as you finally weld it. So I know that it's already very close. I've had it fitting up with very good gaps. So just a little bit more work, a bit more cleaning up in the bottom of the wheelhouse where there was a bit nibbled away. I've got to actually do a little bit more work on that before I put the quarters on. And then she should be good to go. So it looks like a mess, but it's getting there, bit by bit. Okay, another day back at the office, ready for final assembly. Well, final assembly for the sheet metal on the rear quarters, balance, rear pillar panel. So all the preparation's been done, all the pieces have been prepared for welding, so wherever the weld through primer needs to go, all the holes drilled for all the plug welding and all the panels. The back taillight panel. All the quarter panels are all pre-drilled, ready for welding. And same with all the bodywork's all been cleaned up, all the steel areas. Anywhere there's weld through primer, all the joins are going to be. This back parcel shelf panel's all been rebuilt. And some of the seam sealer and some of the preparation on the rear wheel houses have been cleaned up, ready to go. So fun and games, time to start putting things together. So this is me slightly sped up, night and look it. Not really quite this fast, I'm still pretty fast. It's always a little bit tricky working by yourself. The panels are quite large and you haven't got anybody to hold the other end, but yeah, you can do it. It's a bit of a knack to putting the quarter panels on. You get quicker at it the more times you do it, but because I've left the roof skin on, I've got to tuck the quarter panel under the roof skin, hook it over the front of the beat pillar and then lift it up over the rear bracket just for the back boot hinge. So it's a little bit of manipulating to get it in position. But I specifically wanted to leave the roof skin on so that I had a definite anchor point at the top there that hasn't changed. Considering so much of the back of the car has been taken off, I wanted to have a couple of points that I know are never going to shift. So normally the roof skin would go on afterwards anyway. So this way, trim the roof skin back quite a bit. Just the point is really left, which gives me the spot to hook the quarter panel onto. So that's what I'm just doing now. Once again, being on your own, not having anybody there to hold anything, I'm trying to locate the screw holes that I'd put on earlier. I'd screwed the panels in. I'm trying to relocate those again because I had it all back off again, obviously, to drill all the holes in preparation, put all the weld through primer on all the surfaces I'm going to weld to, and of course you pull the screws out, you know, as you go. They don't stay there, of course. It's a bit like a jigsaw. You're making constant adjustments all the way as you're screwing the position, but also when you're welding it, you can manipulate the panels, flex them, alter the shape of the quarter panel a little bit. You can do quite a bit of adjustment. So if you don't watch out, you can actually get out of shape quite a bit. So you want to get it locked down, at least in its position as best you can before you go too far forward. But at the same time, you've got to start somewhere. You've got to get the panels on so that you can actually start getting alignment. So sometimes you put things on and might have to reposition them or change it even. So but it just doesn't magically happen. It's not like the factory when it all goes together with all the jigs and stuff they've got. You get it wrong here and things won't line up. So I had a bit of trouble lining up to that particular hole. Once one's in, it makes it easier because one end will hang up. Sometimes I wish I had someone there to help me. But you work on your own long enough, you get used to it. Sometimes you don't even think about asking for a hand because you're so used to doing it by yourself. Obviously some points you can do with a hand, particularly lifting on the bonnet. It's always such a big panel, you need help for that. But most of the stuff you can do yourself. Loading the doors, I have stands or adjustable screw jacks, things that I can prop the door on, and I can balance the door until I get the top bolt in. Once the top bolt's in, it's easy after that. Hopefully I haven't fallen asleep yet. It's a little bit slow to watch. But it also gives you an idea on how much work it really is. And this is just basic setup. Still a lot more to do yet. That panel I'm just putting now, the Dutchman panel, that really locks up everything. You can't adjust that too much. It locks in the 2/4 panels and the boot, so that's a very important piece. So that's a basic rough alignment, so it's screwed, and I know from the original screw mounts that I had it lined up before that I've basically got very good gaps everywhere, but now it needs lots of manipulating and just pulling all the gaps in tight, the Dutchman panel, just honing it into the exactly right position before I start welding it. So lots of boring footage now. I'll just be walking around, clamping, pushing, pulling, and then before I start tack welding. So that's a rough, quick alignment, and we'll show you as it progresses. Just an update. Still grinding, cutting, welding on the charger. Just to give you a look, we're up to date. We've done all the back of the car now is finally fully welded in. Beautiful gaps. Welds in all the factory places, so I'm really happy with how it's coming along. Parcel shelf worked out nice, you can hardly see anything anyway. And we're just taking the roof skin off, so I'm preparing, got a couple of small rush repairs to do on the frame, but basically not that far off getting ready to put the roof back on, or the new roof on. So then hopefully when you stand back it'll almost look like a new car, if you squint a lot. Anyway, I'll keep going.